Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Darin Hendrickson, the head baseball coach at St. Louis. How's it going?
Doing well, Casey. Thanks for having me.
So, getting ready, of course, for the upcoming season, which of course will start in a few weeks. But what has practices been like, and getting ready for, and what's it like as the season gets closer and closer to starting?
Well, it's getting to that time of year where you kind of hope you know your team a little bit more each day, and I think we're all being a little patient and a little cautious with the new rules coming out and all the changes in our sports, and I think that's been so everybody's kind of in a look around. I think looking over their shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop for some big news or something. But I think getting ready for the season itself on the field and practices are obviously we're still in our individual work time, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The team starts Friday, but we'll be. We're no different than anyone else. We're trying to get our guys built up right now with bullpens. A lot of indoor work. The weather's been obviously cold all over the country, so we were lucky last year. We were only inside 9 days the whole entire time, and this year it's been a little bit different. But we're seeing a break this week, and we'll get out. We're going to scrimmage this weekend, and we'll get rolling.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys took the A10 last year. Coming in, let's talk about this year's team. What kind of tell everybody what to expect from this group, and maybe some of the players to kind of that will be playing this year for you guys. So just kind of go around the diamond and kind of tell who's going to be out there for you guys.
Well, I was hoping you could tell me some of those answers because we've we've got a lot of new faces, like a lot of people in the A10 and across the country, for that matter. But to speak about our team, we've got a lot of new faces, and we had a wonderful team last year of older guys, and they did well. And I think they really genuinely like playing together. The culture's, I thought, very healthy, and in the transfer world of building a culture, man, you better get that right, because you could have a lot of good players and still have a mess. And so I think it's a constant battle every day with guy coming in here and there and a lot of pieces moving around. We don't have a lot of returners back. I believe it's 4 to 5 that will actually. I saw significant time, which is not awful. It's not a complete rebuild at all. But on the mound, I think upgraded our arm talent. We just have a lot of question marks as to what kind of roles. I mean, kids are training differently. They're coming from all these schools and backgrounds, and it's going to be one of those things where you have to find your pieces. And playing 4 games opening weekend at St. Mary's is going to be good for us because win or lose. I mean, it's going to be a heck of a challenge, first of all. But secondly, just to play 4 and put people in spots to, try to figure some stuff out as you get heading into conference, 4 weeks later. So that's probably a good thing, even though it might not feel like it in 3 or 4 weeks from, when you're out there in an 18-inning doubleheader that day. But all is good. I mean, this is a heck of a challenge. And for a guy that's been doing it a while, it's really going to inspire me and wake me up and energize me, because they got great kids here. I really do. It's a wonderful team of guys that really have bought in. And we just have to, plow through the A10. There's a lot of parity in our league. I mean, my gosh, Dayton lost their coach. They lost a lot of their team late in the year. June and July is a hard time to start all over. VCU has a new coach. The Bonnies have a kid throwing 100 miles an hour. It's just, there's a lot of good teams, and it's a sneaky good league. Our league RPI was really good last year. We had a lot of players drafted. I think we're in the top 10 in the country in drafts, which probably nobody would get that right on a trivia question. So, but it's still, you got to do the things that make you successful, and that's build a team. So we're doing that every day. It takes a lot of work each day to do that.
You mentioned a lot of new faces. Who are there any ones that kind of stood out for people that may not know, or what are who are some names to possibly watch for this year?
Well, I think we've got a mix of portal guys, JUCO transfers, I'm going to forget somebody, so I'm going to cheat sheet here with my roster, but I'm kidding. But we've got there's guys from the JUCO mix. I think is going to help us instantly. We've got Mark McGuire's son Max, who will come in and play a significant role. I think getting some at bats and getting him out there, and Riley Ifrig is a guy that is a winning player that played at Indiana State. Obviously he's been around some high level of postseason. So I think those intangibles are very important. I think Steven Hernandez was at Arizona State, a left-handed pitcher that went back to JUCO, and Strider Salas, Utah Valley kickback from JUCO as well. Those two have intriguing arms for sure. I think those two will play a big role in where we go. We have two Seton Hall transfers, and I think those guys will, certainly help our back end bullpen. So, that was encouraging. Ben Cherico is a returning player who was on our team last year. He was injured. But he has very, very good stuff. Upside is tremendous, and expect him when he's healthy to be a big part of our deal. So that's addition by addition. In other words, we had him in the stable before. He pitched a lot as a freshman and then got hurt last year and sat out. So those are big things. Carl Relam's a name to keep an eye on with Justin Lee, two pitchers that came from different places, but Carl's got intriguing stuff. He has not been able to. He was at Coastal Carolina and then Rice, and I think when you look at his stuff, you'd say, "Wow, I understand why, this guy's got it." But just trying to slow him down, calm him down, and get him into a spot. So Chase Miner's a really big arm in the back end that I anticipate playing a huge role in this thing before it's all over. And then we've got a couple freshmen too that. One we got pretty late in Aman Khan that's got a real high ceiling. He pitched in the draft league, and I think any other year he probably ends up in a Power Five. With the way the rosters go. So we could talk a lot because I got a lot of new guys, but it's a heavy duty. A lot of unknowns, man. It's just crazy. I don't know that we're going to lose about 70% of our innings across the board. When you look at everything, and that's the kind of stuff that you got to go as a coach, just you kind of got to play through it. There's no magical answers. We can practice scrimmage, got to get through it all.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned you're heading to St. Mary's to start the season, and then you welcome in North Alabama, and you got a pretty good non-conference schedule to kind of open up the year before you get into A10 play.
Well, it's I don't know if it's, look, I've been doing this forever, and I'm trying to, we travel so much. Like the A10, you just have no idea how the travel is crazy. Everyone travels now, so
Yeah.
no one feels sorry for you. I just mean, like, we're so banged up on travel as the year goes, with academic calendar and getting into deep April. This year we've got 3 road trips in April. It's a true grind, but we're going to go to the West Coast this year, and we recruit out there a lot. We recruit out there heavy, so we're going to head that way and try to do that and just make sure that we're, I think, in a good spot to be battle tested when conference starts, like everybody's trying to do. I mean, it's not the greatest schedule by any means. It's more of but I do think we have a ton of respect for LMU, St. Mary's. North Alabama was supposed to be a road series, but they're getting a new stadium, so they're coming here. And and then you have South Dakota State, who's always tricky, because they've been able to keep kids home, and just those kinds of schools we're all the same now. It's the mid-major world is going to be a lot of, boy, they look like us across the diamond, and it's kind of who gels, who wants it more. And I've been looking for the separator, because I think there's 200 teams that all are probably in the same boat. If you give or take, 100, maybe 100 or so, 50 or whatever the number is, but you know what I mean? Large number of Division I teams, all going to look alike. And for me, I kept saying, when this started happening, when all these rule changes were going on, I kept saying, well, how do I help our team get a 5%, 10% better edge through the transfer world? and it's really comes down to culture and building and making sure that guys are, overachieving and getting the most out of them. I got a lot of guys that this is their second and third chance, and I want those guys to play with a chip on their shoulder, and a little edge instead of, I'm kind of defeated or not sure, that kind of stuff. So yeah, our schedule, I hope, prepares us for that. And once again, the travel is really wild. When you're in 5 airplanes, it's a test. It'll test your deal. You know.
Yeah. A10 play. Where are we at? Of course, you guys took the conference last year. What's the A10 looking like?
Well, that is something that is truly up in the air. Like we were joking the other day in the offices about, I don't even know how I would vote the preseason poll. It's that much parity. I really think with all the changes and, Dayton leaving, and I think I I just don't. I mean, you have to think VCU is going to be okay. And I think, like I said, there's a lot of people probably going to sneak up. I don't think a lot of us coaches know what we have. St. Joe's lost a lot of players, which I have so much respect for the coaches in our league because I know the fights they fight. And so when they go out and do the things that they're trying to do, and each year we've got kind of 5 or 6 teams that all look pretty good, and then in the end it's sort of whatever. And last year we went to a new park and in Tysons, Virginia, where Georgetown plays, as far as that's where we held our conference tournament. Great setup and all, but very short park, and you got to really pitch it carefully there because the home runs were in abundance in the tournament. So you kind of got to build a team if you're going to win the tournament currently where we're at in Tysons to hit home runs. I hate to say that. Like, of course, everybody wants a team that hits home runs, right? But you really do. It's a long ball park. You got to keep it in the park there too, pitching wise. It plays very short and it makes for, a wild tournament. And me being a former pitching person, I'm not a huge fan of that kind of baseball. I'm not a 15 to 14 guy. So, you just got to play better and pitch better, and there's no excuses. Everybody plays at the same field. But the A10s, I really don't know, Case. I don't know how I would vote. I think anybody could probably have a case for 1, 2, and 3, and it should be interesting. I'm going to keep my poll this year and then see how it matches up at the end to see how good I did, but I suspect it won't be very good. So,
yeah. Next few weeks, leading into that trip to California, really, what do you want to accomplish in these next few weeks before the season starts?
Well, confidence is the first thing, and just a little of as much game like. We can practice all we want. We as coaches are responsible for the tempo and the temperature of the practice, and we turn up the jets to try to get it more game like. But when the umpire says play ball and we're in Moringa, California against St. Mary's, there's really not much I can do to mimic all that at this stage, which makes this tough. So we're doing all we can to allow a lot of failure right now. Practice at a high level. Machines are turned up, situations are turned up, competition's turned up, just like every coach is probably trying to do. But also, build your guys up and let them know it's truly a marathon. Because the bottom line for us is, we're not getting an at-large. We've got to get ourselves into the A10 in a good spot and then play well in the tournament. And I think that's something that is, it's not fun per se, but it's also, we kind of know what we've got to do from a game plan standpoint. So I think these next couple of weeks will be, for me, it's about build up, keeping guys going. I mean, it's a new world with a lot of this transfer stuff. A lot of these guys that we are on our rosters haven't pitched much, haven't had success at some places over a long period. They've had flashes, but sustained 200 at bat or 70 plus inning guys, we don't have a ton of those currently, but I think our talent has been increased in some areas, particularly on the mound, yet still unproven.
For sure. All right, Darin, thank you so much for the time as always, and best of luck to you guys this year.
No problem. Thanks so much, Casey, for having me.